Well, hello, and welcome to the September 3rd version of our live. I'm excited to talk to you tonight. My name is Sam Salone. I've been doing these so long. I feel like I know every single one of you. And looking forward to talking to you tonight about some specific neighborhoods that have come up to me in conversation over the last few weeks into the last few months. And as the market has changed and as people have been coming more into the area, there are specific types of neighborhoods that have come up in consistent conversations that I want to bring up to you. There are certain types that don't exist very much in the area that I think, because of the scarcity of these types of neighborhoods, I want to bring up the ones that I think are closest to what would be considered a master plan community, houses or neighborhoods with pools. This is a big deal in the Virginia Beach area. It's hard to find these. And so I hope you had a wonderful Labor Day holiday, by the way. And I don't mean to jump into it right away, but thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed your weekend, long weekend off. We are now going into fall. That means football, and that makes me happy. So hope that is the same for you. And again, welcome from anywhere you are. If you're local, if you are from another part of the country, another part of the world, let me know where you're watching from. I love to know where everybody's watching from. I've been privileged to meet so many people from so many different parts of the country, different countries, and it's great because this area does attract so many different kinds of people, different types of different cultures, so much, and I love it. So, Kevin Hawthorne, hey. Good evening. Hey, Kevin. How good to see you. From Lakeland, good to talk to you. Derek, hey, good to see you again. Yep, from Hampton. Nice to see you, Derek. Nice to see you this evening, as well as Jackie. Hey, from Kentucky. Fun. We're going across a lot of the parts of the eastern part of the country. It's pretty fun. So anybody in the western side, you got the Midwest, you got the north, south. Tell me where you're watching from. I love it. And I love, one of the things I love about the difference in where people are watching from is that I found that over time there's nuance to the differences between what people enjoy and what they're used to and where they live, and where what they enjoy or what they can expect here. Notably, stuff like this, small stuff like a walls. Sounds crazy, but I found a lot of times I get used to how the walls are designed here. You see a lot of weird circles and patterns in the walls here. Well, that was normal to me, but what I found is that that's not normal to a lot of people in different parts of the country. So they come here looking for houses, like, what's wrong with your walls? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so it's that kind of stuff. Frogs are a big deal. I just had a conversation with someone today about frogs, finished room over garage. That is a pretty common thing here. It's an extra bedroom, so to speak, but it's not a normal type of bedroom. I talk about that a lot in different types of my videos. And that's a notable thing because people think it's a bedroom, but it kind of feels different. So it's those things, those new little nuances that make each area feel different, and what makes areas like here feel unique also. So I love it. I love the differences. I love when people come here and see the differences. I just love this area a lot, if you have not noticed already. So I'm going to talk to you tonight about some specific neighborhoods. And if you have any questions, please feel free. And I don't have my little banner that says so, but please feel free to drop a question down below. I will feel free to answer any questions you have as I talk about the neighborhoods, but also if there are any specifics that you have about real estate or about moving here. Again, I specialize in helping people to do specifically that. So I'm now helping people start to plan for the end of the year into the 2026 time period as well. So that's becoming, when you get into the August, September time period, that's when people start preparing. So if you are wondering, when should I start? If I know I'm moving in April, when's the good time to start preparing? Honestly, now to October is very normal. It's all about acclimation to the areas, acclimation to what normal is here, maybe taking a trip, that type of stuff to get acclimated to what's here. So never feel like there's too much time. Definitely prepare early enough if you can. And again, let me know, so I can then start forecasting what is the best plan of attack, if you will, for what is best for you based on the things you might need, want, things that I can add to in a layered perspective for what you want to do when you move here, how to kind of get acclimated as fast as possible. And there are certain ways I can do that and help you with that. So as early as possible, as fast as possible is probably the ideal time to do it. Prepare. So going back to the neighborhoods. So we're going to talk about HOAs. We're going to talk about, but specifically HOAs with pools, because a lot of people want to put pools in their backyards. They want to find a neighborhood or a house that either has a pool in it already or a place that they can put a pool in. And pools are getting so expensive. I mean, you can pay $80,000, $100,000 or more for a pool, and it takes several months sometimes to put a pool in. That it's like, is it justifiable? And the answer could be yes. But if you're going to be buying a pool, like for example, in the middle of June or July, it might take until after the season's over to get it in. So now you're paying way more for a pool. You're losing a season, and on top of that, the question is, are there other alternatives? And the answer is yes. There just aren't as many neighborhoods with pools as one might think. And so I've been always scouring to figure out, okay, what would I consider my favorites? So we're going to talk about 3 specific neighborhoods with pools in Virginia Beach and 3 specific neighborhoods in Chesapeake that have pools as well. We're going to alternate. And so I'll start first in Virginia Beach. And the first one is a neighborhood that, in fact, is one of the biggest or most popular new construction neighborhoods in all of the, not just Virginia Beach, the Hampton Roads area, which is Asheville Park. And I didn't spell that right. Oh, yeah, I did. Did I put an E in there? Yeah. So Asheville Park is it's one of the nicest neighborhoods in the area, number one. So I'm going to show you on the map where it is. I'm going to share my screen, but it's one of the nicest neighborhoods in the whole Virginia Beach area. But because Virginia Beach new construction is so hard to find, it makes it complicated to find alternatives to compare Asheville Park to. So if you look back, zooming out, you've got all the Virginia Beach here. Zooming down in the bottom southeastern corner, this is the Ocean Lakes area here. If you keep going further south, you'll run into Pungo, which is all like country. Between Ocean Lakes and Pungo there are a couple neighborhoods. Heritage Park right here, but no, right above that is what were we at? I'm sorry, just south of there. Sorry, it's Asheville Park right here. There are 2 that feel like they connect to each other, but they're not. They're right bumped up against each other. There are 2 parks that feel connected, neighborhoods that are named after park, that have the park name in it. Asheville Park has multiple different neighborhoods in it. So there's the front called Rainier Village and Wilshire Village. The back neighborhood, the new construction, is where you'll find some of the nicest new construction in the area, but we're talking over $1 million. But I'm going to still show you what I'm talking about. So all these around here, just helped someone move in here just recently. And this is an older version. Okay, they updated the Street View. I just did a video. Oh, so there you go. That's what it used to look like. So let's zoom back out. Let's zoom back out. That was what it used to look like. This is actually also what it used to look like. But then, there you go. So this area is, so what you get, you're talking about 33,000 plus square feet, 4,000 square feet in some cases, in the 1.1, 1.2 to 1.4, $1.5 million price range. But these are some of the most contemporary houses. These are some of the most, I'd say, contemporary is the right word, but you got open ceilings, open floor plan. You got, what's the name of the ceiling, coffered ceilings? That is an upgrade. That's an option in the Chesapeake Homes development. This is the builder that's in here, Chesapeake Homes. They do a good job, and I'm pretty happy with the condition of this. Even the client I helped get a house in here recently, really liked the condition of the house. It wasn't even the new house, but it was a relatively new house. And I like it in here for what you're getting, 1.2, 1.3 price range. There's specific floor plans that are, I think, nicer than others, I personally think. But you're zooming out, you're in the southeastern corner. You're in the Kellam High School District, which is a very popular school district. One of the most in demand in the area as well. So you zoom out, you're close to Red Mill. It's a very important thing to be close to Red Mill because you get access to a lot of shopping that's in the Ocean Lakes area, Red Mill area. Being in Red Mill is one of the big draws to being in the southeastern part of Virginia Beach, but also you are across the street from Sherwood Lakes, which is another neighborhood here. But the reason that matters is not necessarily the neighborhood itself, but the restaurant and kind of the strip malls in front of it that are being built. Shorebreak Pizza is one of the best, I think, pizza places in the entire area. You can't see it here, but it's right there. I've done videos about Sherwood Lakes. I've included the area in here multiple times, and this is all being built up now, but there's a lot more that's happened recently since this video has been or this street view has been posted, but you are literally down the street from there. So I think that's important. Taste, the restaurant is right next to here too. I love Taste. That's a local chain, a sandwich shop. So there you go, a lot of newer things in the southeastern corner. So if you're okay with the price range, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, bigger houses, more contemporary houses, new construction, I would jump on something in Nashville Park. You'll find that the most in-demand houses in Nashville, I'm going to stop this. You can see me more. There you go. The more in-demand houses in Nashville Park are going to be uh, um, the ones that are pre-sold, that they usually sell faster. There are going to be some spec houses or houses that are under construction or closing that they build in here that have not been purchased yet. Those usually don't go as fast because they've already picked out things in the house that you might want to do yourself. I mean, most people that want a new house often want to do their own design. And so if you buy a house that's new construction, it's being built, you don't get that same convenience or that luxury. And so if you're going to pay 1.3, 1.4 for a new construction house and not get to pick your own stuff, that's where it's like, it's not as much of a demand for that. So the more in demand ones, or the lots that you're buying in advance, it's going to take several months to do. But if you're okay with under contract, getting a house under contract that's new or newer, that is not customizable, you might be able to get a little bit cheaper, a little bit better deal possibly. So I like Asheville Park for what you get there, but you get that community pool, community center that's right in front of between the new construction area and the older construction area. So I'm going to go back to the map. I'm going to show you where the actual community center is. So it's right in between. Where are we at? There's Asheville. The clubhouse is right here. And again, I've included this in my videos in the past. Whoa, what was that? Let me try that again. Where'd I go? Help me, Rhonda. Okay, there it is. So it's a newer, you see that right there. So you got a basketball court in the back there. You got the pool, nice pool. But it's kind of off the side of the main road, Asheville Park Boulevard, from the rest of all the Asheville Park developments. I like it. The drawback to Asheville Park, the biggest one to me, is the Cox cable bill. You are sort of committed to buying into, if you will, because the Asheville Park neighborhood has a contract with Cox to provide the internet access. So I think that's annoying. I would not want that. It's like usually when I talk to people about buying a condo or an HOA, a neighborhood, you're going to be buying into the whole situation. And so is what you're paying worth it? I like the neighborhood, but again, if you might be paying, it could be the equivalent of a couple $100 a month, maybe, for the cable bill. Is it worth it? I mean, if you're going to be buying in that price range, maybe $200 a month isn't as big of a deal. But my point is that just bothers me. I wouldn't personally want to do that, especially if I have options like Verizon and Cox as opposed to Cox. But it's gonna happen. So if you're okay with Asheville Park, you're gonna have to be okay with the Cox situation. So that's number one. So let's shift over to Chesapeake. Go over to Chesapeake. Number two is Riverwalk. So Riverwalk is a neighborhood. I'm going to show you on the map. I used to live in Riverwalk. Number one, full disclosure, if that's a great way of saying, I mean, it's 20 years ago. I can't believe I'm saying that, but it is 20 years ago is when I lived in Riverwalk, almost. And zoom out, so you'll see in Chesapeake, the south part of Chesapeake. So you get Greenbrier. I talked about Greenbrier in a big long video last week, about 30 minutes of the whole Greenbrier east and west. So just south of there, what's considered the south part of Greenbrier, technically, I personally don't consider this as Greenbrier as much. Right here. So Great Bridge Boulevard is right here where it says Greenbrier West. It says that. Again, it doesn't feel like it to me, but this big cul-de-sac kind of archway here is Riverwalk. And you get different types of neighborhoods in Riverwalk. You get the small townhouses. You get the condos right on the front side here. You go back, you got the single family houses that like the three, 4 bedrooms. You got larger houses, 4 or 5 or more bedrooms back on the water, 900,000 in the back, $1 million, maybe over $1 million. You got these big docks. That the uncommon feature of this area is not just the fact you can buy a bunch of different types of neighborhoods or houses in neighborhoods in Riverwalk. but it's these docks. If you notice, there are so few neighborhoods that are backed up to water or deep water access in Chesapeake. You've got the Elizabeth River, but the access to these parts of the Elizabeth River is just not as common. So Riverwalk has some of those access points. So I think that's a pretty popular thing too. So I like that for that reason. You're going to get, again, a variety of prices, a variety of sizes, but you're going to have a lot of different types of houses in here. So I lived in the condos right here, Inlet Key. This neighborhood, for what I was getting at, is a 2-bedroom condo. This might have been me right here. Is this 716? I used to live in 716 Inlet Key, Unit D. Where was I at? Is it this one? One of these back in here. I think it was this one. So anyways, I parked in here. I lived in here, and you come out of here and you get to the next neighborhood that is, you got some attached townhouses over here. With the garages, see the differences there? Mine were more like an apartment style ish. These are more like 2 stories, but you get a lot of 1-story living feel in this side here. But you drive out, and where you find, you got the River Crest Park, the Riverwalk, kind of a community center right here. You got the pool, you got the pool's right here, and you get the tennis courts, but you get the HOA community center right here. So that's the part where you get that extra dynamic. Some of these are condos, some of these are townhouses in Riverwalk, but you get the pool. The pool's great. The benefit to being next to this area too is, I didn't realize this until the day I moved out of the neighborhood. This was 2009. I didn't know any better. I was kind of new in real estate. I didn't realize what I did not have. But if you zoom out, there was no Google Maps Street View back then. So you zoom out, look, you got the pool and tennis courts, great. And the community center is right here. But look behind, you got this long pathway, massive field. So if you have kids, for me, I liked it because I thought it was just a fun place to go and do fun stuff. I was in my low 20s. This is a great open spot that's in a place that has almost no wide open fields to do anything in an activity field. I love that. It was a sneaky little big wide open field. It felt like the size of a football field. You can see the size of it. Compare it to the football field here. This is Oscar Smith High School. You can see how big it is. It's about this, maybe the different shape, but a similar size. I think that was a fun discovery for me that I wish I had when I was there. But point being is that you are in an area that has a really nice pool and a real nice clubhouse area around it. You can zoom in right here. There's the Riverwalk Club. The pool's back there. So there are condo neighborhoods, there are HOA neighborhoods, but the HOA is only, I think it's $70 a month. So anyway, I'm a big fan of Riverwalk for that reason, but you get to other neighborhoods in here, whether it be condo or not, and really have it's a nice lifestyle in here. And you get different pool, like the condos, some of the neighborhoods have their own pools as well, as opposed to the HOA pool. So you don't necessarily just have to use that one if you're in a condo neighborhood in here as well. So coming out of here, personally, like the local grocery stores, I wasn't a big fan of, but you have easy access to a lot of different places. So you come out of here, you got Great Bridge Boulevard, look at all these. You got the bypass, you got 64, 464, 264. You can get to all of it pretty easily because you're right at the clover leaf right here. And it's like 3 or 4 minutes away. It's pretty convenient. So I like that aspect of being in this section for that reason, but the drawback to me is it feels kind of run down on Great Bridge Boulevard. It's gotten better, I guess, in the last 15, 20 years, but it's still kind of I can take it or leave it, but otherwise it's very convenient and easy access. But some flood insurance in the back here, back by the marshes. I say that's one thing to also keep in mind too. And where I used to live in Inlet Key, I had to also pay flood insurance. And you had the flooding was like, 3 or 4 inches in the worst spots on the roads, but still, nevertheless, it wasn't nothing. So anyway, that's number 2. Number 3 is back to Virginia Beach is Indian Lakes. Someone go back. You can, and again, I'm talking here, but if you have any questions, just let me know. I will do whatever I can to answer in as much detail as possible because I love them details. So Indian Lakes, going back out. Whoops, there's Oak Grove Lake Park. That's a good one. Indian Lakes is right here. So Indian Lakes is on the eastern, kind of southwestern side of Virginia Beach. So you got 64, 264. This is a pretty common or pretty convenient part of town. Indian River Road right here Kempsville Road, Lynn Haven Parkway, Centerville Turnpike, all these major roadways, Providence Road. Being close to all these is great. And Indian Lakes allows you the ability to be close to all these. And so it takes you about 5 minutes to get to 64. One of the things I like about Indian Lakes is the fact that you can get townhouses in the 200, 250, 300 price range, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, townhouses, and there's some condos nearby as well. That's number one. So for example, Johnstown Lane, I just helped someone move into Johnstown Lane recently, Jameson Drive, all this whole area here. Breezewood Arch, some condos over here. This section near Settlers Park, love this. One of my best friends used to live on Settlers Park. One of my best friends also used to own a house on owns a house on Riverstone Drive, in the same area. All this area, Stockton, this whole section here, townhouses, I love. You can get in. You can have the HOA. I think it's $30 a month now. It's not much, and you get the community pool. There's the Indian Lakes Association right there. If you do the street view, there you go. There's the pool. Love that. You can get the easy access there for not very expensive, but you have single family houses here in the low 300s, mid 300s, upper 300s, those smaller ones, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 2 bedroom, 1 bath in some cases. I'll drop a pin through in the 3.2, in the 350 range. You can see that, they're not massive. It's very unassuming, but what you're paying, you're getting easy access to the main parts of town. Pretty good shopping, convenient. It's great. You're going to give up some yard size. You're giving up some parking access. You can't get everything for the cheaper price. That's just kind of how it works, right? But I think it's pretty nice for the price. But you get the HOA pool and community events. A lot of these neighborhoods I'm mentioning are also trying to put out some community attractions, not attractions, if you will, like the events types of things. I think that's a helpful thing to help people feel assimilated into the community. But this is a smaller part of the neighborhood. But if you cross over, where are we at? Farrell Parkway on this side, Indian Lakes Foundation, there's a pool on this side as well. Indian Lakes Boulevard has some of the larger houses over here. So Indian Lakes over here, so the Autumn Harvest, this side here, or across Andover, Valley Stream, over to Harvest Court, like these neighborhoods over here, 3 or 4 bedrooms, but in the 4 to 450 price range, 430. That's the meaty range right now. I used to talk about this area being under 4. You can still get in this side just barely under 4, but the time of this area being easily under 4 is kind of gone. I was helping people get houses in here in the 375, 380, 390 price range. Those are now 420, 425, 430. There's some people walking their taking their kids for a walk. Not only do you get a lot of ranch style, which is great, one living straight up the slabs, which is helpful for no stairs. But if you don't like that, you want crawl spaces. There aren't as many crawls here. But you also get you see here, 2-car garages can also happen here. It is hard, if not impossible, to find newer ranch style houses with 2-car garages, or even newer or even more contemporary-ish floor plans that have 2-car garages that are 2,000 and less square feet. Like you see houses like this. These are built, I think it's the 70s, like mid 70s. They're not all going to be like super fancy, super sophisticated, but man, for $425 right now, 400 was the new 350. Newer at the time, 350. Now 450 was the new 400, 425. We're seeing those prices increase, and so Indian Lakes is going to still be the gateway to that. Excuse me, got something in my eye. It's the gateway to that next price level. So I always feel like you can get a good value in Indian Lakes, not because it's like, oh, you get all the frills, but you get the HOA, you get the pool. You don't have to use the pool. You're not even paying that much for the HOA, but you get it if you want it. And in this side of Indian Lakes, you get a little bit more neighborhood or more lot. And I think that's helpful too. And you're close to other neighborhoods. You connect to other neighborhoods like Acredale on this side right here. And Bellamy Manor, but also Stratford Chase, which is right here. And also you got Acredale, which is back here. Acredale, Burnham Woods, this whole section of Kempsville I love a lot. Lake Larkspur, Bellamy Woods, Bellamy Manor. Love it. So being in this side, convenient. I'm a big fan for what you pay, what you get. I think it's great. I would check it out if you want a neighborhood with a pool. You don't see too many houses in here with pools. I can't even picture one I've seen with a pool in your backyard. I think they take advantage of the pool itself. I love that neighborhood for that reason. So Going back, the next neighborhood is Cheshire Forest. So now we're going back over into Chesapeake. I like Cheshire Forest for a couple of reasons. We go over here, Chesapeake, again, I mentioned Greenbrier. We are past Greenbrier on this side. Down Cedar Road, let's see, where are we at? There's Johnstown right here. Johnstown Road, this section is very nostalgic to me because I grew up in Virginia Beach, but I spent a lot of time in the Johnstown Road, Mount Pleasant, Battlefield Boulevard part of town. And Cheshire Forest is down here in the southern part off of Parker Road and Johnstown Road right here, right here. What we at? There we go, right here. This area, it got that contemporary vibe. I like it. But man, it's hard to find the style of house with all the tree coverage and like the nice 2-story and the 5s, 6s, 650 range. Like this, the brick, nice faces. You're not even paying, you might see some in the 7s, closer to 8, but the meat range is in the 575 to 675 price range. And you're going to get nice house, 4 or 5 bedrooms mostly, nice brick face or brick front in a lot of cases. I say a mixture, but you see it's more of a stately look to it. A mixture of different floor plans also. I'm going to zoom out so you can see also where the community pool is. There it is right there. So the pool is right in front of, as you drive in past there's a pond in front of the neighborhood or in front of the center. There is the pool. This is the community center right here, the Cheshire Forest HOA. And so, same thing. You can get a big house, not feel the need to put a pool in your backyard if you don't want to. These are, I think, the neighborhood HOA, I think now is in the 55-ish price range, I believe, 54 in that range. So 4 or 5 bedrooms, 2,800, 3,000 square feet. You get, I think this would be Great Bridge School District, I believe. But you see the towering trees, Cheshire Forest, named that for a reason. I really appreciate how this neighborhood feels. If I'm looking at drawbacks to the actual neighborhood, if you notice, this is where I get real nuanced into the, let's see, where are we at? There are a few parts of the neighborhood that have large electric power lines. And I think one's right here. You see where this cut is? I'm not sure exactly, but you'll find a couple spots in here that have the power big, those big power lines I think it's right here. I think that's it right here. The big power. Yeah, I think that's one of them right there. You'll find some spots in the neighborhood that have those big power lines, boom, right behind in the backyard or near the backyards of some of these houses. So parts of the neighborhood have that. That annoys me a lot. I don't have any specific understanding of the health benefits or drawbacks. I guess mostly drawback potential to having the power lines in your backyard, those big ones. I don't know. And I think most people probably don't, if I was to guess. But even if you're going to go to sell, even if there was no concern at all, the thought of that concern that people come into the neighborhood have when they see it, even just the aesthetic of it can be enough of a drawback to make the demand of houses with that nearby not as high. So personally, to me, while it's not necessarily, it may not matter to you as much, it might matter to the person that's buying. There you go. There it is right there. See, great example of right there. The person that is buying next to you might be interested, might care about that. So definitely focus on where the house is in Cheshire Forest. But other than that, I really am a big fan of being in this area. So down the south part of Great Bridge right here, you're close to some shopping. So there's Battlefield Boulevard. There's some kind of it's a small town vibe in here, especially right here. To me, when I think Great Bridge, when I think Chesapeake, this specific intersection, this is what I think of when I think of Great Bridge. It's it's congested, so to speak. It's all the convergence points, Cedar Road and Battlefield right here at the T intersection. You got a lot of cars going in and out. You got old power lines that they haven't taken down. There's still old lights. The strip malls have been in there for a long time. You even see some old body shops. So this body shop right here, I can't remember the name of it. Great Bridge Auto, I think, old Exxon. This one's been here for a long time. And it may have gone under different names, like Great Bridge Auto Service. This is it's an old country town. That's what Great Bridge is. And when you go from here to the rest of the south part of Chesapeake, you see kind of in chunks, the neighborhoods around it got built up. So you have this long stretch on Battlefield, but coming off of here, neighborhood built in the 60s, maybe built in the 70s and 80s, built in the 90s. As you go further and further, the neighborhoods kept developing down to, you got Edinburgh down here, where you've got a lot of new houses, over $1 million off Edinburgh right here. This is a great neighborhood in 1.1, 1.2 range. So 1.4-ish, you could find houses even higher than that. But my point is that the age of the houses change as you go further and further away from this central part of Great Bridge, closer to the bridge, Great Bridge Bridge right here. This is the Great Bridge Bridge. You see a lot of pictures of the Great Bridge Bridge in even thumbnails and YouTube. Maybe you might see pictures of this. This is a very popular bridge. Like, this is the kind of the iconic Great Bridge Bridge that goes up and down. It's super irritating if you get caught before it, but it is what it is. I think it just adds to the charm of Great Bridge. There's a lot of history about Great Bridge Battlefield right here too. So a lot of history right in the Great Bridge area. Now, this is the Intercoastal Waterway. You can connect over to Riverwalk. This is Elizabeth River. You can connect to Riverwalk. Where we at? Over here. Where are we at? There it is. There we go. Sorry, I'm getting all discombobulated. This is the Great Bridge Bridge right here. Going over to this side, this is Riverwalk right here. This is Riverwalk. So you're on the same body of water. So it's all kind of connects, right? But either way, regardless, it's a great access point. Plenty of shopping, close to Greenbrier, all 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away from Battlefield or from the rest of Greenbrier. So being in the Cheshire Forest neighborhood, right where are we at? Back here, right here, is, I think it's convenient, but the people that don't want to be in this area are the ones that feel like it's just too far from the rest of town. So if you zoom out, you'll find that 168, the bypass, is helpful a lot, but it's not necessarily the drive time itself. It's how much it feels like you got to drive to get to other parts of town. Because if you're in Virginia Beach, if you're 15 minutes away from something, you also know you have access to other parts of town in different directions. But I think what it is not just the country vibe. It's also the fact that you only have one way out. It's all going this direction. You can't go down this way. You're eventually going down into, it's more rural. The airport's down here. You got the Great Bridge down here, but there's just a less. So you kind of feel like you only have one way out. Kind of how it feels like when you're up in Norfolk in this corner here near Larchmont. It feels that way similar, but it's a body of water, not rural parts of town. So I think if I was going to look at a drawback, that's one of the drawbacks that people find is to want to go this far south, going to the rest of Virginia Beach and Norfolk and anywhere else. So that's the drawback I think I'd find. So can I stop and answer your questions real quick before we keep going? Lizzie Hunter, hi from Texas. Hey, what part of Texas? Oh, did I not share my screen the last time? No. Oh, moving to Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area. Awesome. Let me know if I can help you, Lizzie. Very cool. And it's fun. And I've helped a lot of people from Texas, actually. Do you know where in Texas are you moving from? I can't believe if I didn't share my screen that time, but guys, if I didn't explain myself very well, I'm so glad. Thank you for telling me, Lizzie. I apologize sincerely. This is what happens. I got to share it. So I'm going to do another version, an abridged version of this. So if you can see this now, Route 168, the bypass. So Johnstown Road right here. This is where Cheshire Forest is right here. This is Cheshire Forest. And the reason I was bringing this up is you have some lakes in here, and I'm going to show you where the HOA is. There's the HOA in the pool right here. Drop this here. Boink. There you go. There's the pond. There's the HOA right here, but you got the pool. But what I wanted to mention to you, you've seen, I'll show you back to the street view real quick. You see the types of houses in here. You got 2-story brick, 4 or 5 bedrooms. And I know that if people have been hearing me this whole time, they're going to be hearing some similar stuff. So I want to make sure you can see the what do you call it? The visuals, as opposed to just me just running my mouth again. So I want to say some different stuff. So I could say some jokes, but I'll make sure you can pay attention to what I'm saying. But it's got a new vibe, right? Newer vibe than what you might see from some other parts of what you find in Chesapeake or Virginia Beach. It's just a nice contemporary floor plan. Some weird ones in some places, some maybe some smaller lots in some cases, but also some bigger ones. But a lot of trees, and I love that vibe. So zooming back out again, one of the things I want to mention is, once again, thank you for for mentioning that, Leslie, that you couldn't see it. So goodness gracious, you guys, thank you for your patience. So the association with Great Bridge and the rest of Chesapeake, it feels very country down in this area because it's your one way. You see all this farmland. There are houses, but it still feels like you're bumping up against civilization. And so as you come back out this way, where are we at? Sorry, there's Greenbrier East. There's the hello. Where are we at? Gosh, what is happening? Oh, I have it reversed. There we go. You guys must think I'm a clown. So Great Bridge is right here. Here's a neighborhood right here. There's Etheridge or Cheshire Forest right here. So zooming back out, there's your barrier right there. All the farmland, super irritating. If you want to move to other parts of town and kind of get out, you can only really get out one way to get to civilization. There is the gateway, if you will, to the rest of the Chesapeake Great Bridge area. There is the T intersection of Cedar Road and Great Bridge Boulevard and Battlefield Boulevard. The Great Bridge, the City Hall is over here. It's like, again, it's like what people think about, or what I think about when I think of the rich Great Bridge old vibe that you get. Old gas stations. I mentioned that old Exxon gas station. I'll show you what I'm talking about here, right there. You see that Great Bridge Auto Service. Closed Sunday. Okay. It's just that old, like not Mayberry, but it definitely feels on the older side, older, like a house this is a store. It was I think it was a vintage store there. Even the Wells Fargo is an old building, that kind of thing, just repurposed old buildings. They built a new one there. But other than that, like I used to go to that Dairy Queen. I got back in the late 90s, early 2000s. So there's the bridge. There's an iconic bridge right here. And this is the one that goes up in the seemingly most inopportune times. There is the Intercoastal Waterway right there. You got all the boat access I mentioned near Riverwalk right here. So anyway, love Cheshire Forest. But again, the drawback is you got to go out one direction to get to the most of the rest of town. Not everybody wants to do that. And I get it, but it's a great part of town. I really love it. Family oriented. I think you could live there for people live there forever. I mean, I have friends that have lived there for decades. It's great. So Lizzie, moving from Round Rock. Yeah, very cool. Moving from Round Rock, north of Austin. Yes, we can see. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, guys. North of Austin. Man, it's a bit high in the price is zoomed up. Did it hit Round Rock the same way it hit Austin? Man, I would have assumed so, but I mean, I'm curious. So going to the next one, now that you can see what I'm talking about, Glenwood is the neighborhood back in Virginia Beach. So we're going to zoom out, going back to Virginia Beach area here. So there's the Indian Lakes area. It's not that far away from here. Glenwood's right here. This is a kind of like a, not Riverwalk because you don't get the same kind of vibe there, but you get a lot of different types of houses, townhouses, condos, single family houses around Stumpy Lake Lane. Like there's a lot of different types and sizes around here. So you get the bunch of, that's one thing I want to mention is for, Glenwood, a lot of common areas, a lot of green space, a lot of different, types of neighborhoods in here. You get 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, you get 3-bedroom, kind of like a combination of what you get in Riverwalk and what you get in Indian Lakes, but more of an 80s style house. And I think maybe you might see some in the 90s, but a lot of different combinations of neighborhoods combined here. So you got condos, you got Glenwood, is it the Glenwood Seasons, which is down here closer to the south corner. You'll find that you get closer to 600,000 down in the south section over here, almost like separate from the rest of Glenwood. I think if I drop it here, you'll see it. Yeah. You'll see some in here like in the 525 range. You'll see some closer to the 6 range. You'll see some in the 425 range. You'll still see some that are in the 375 price range, but the times that you can see houses in the 4 and under range are becoming numbered. You're getting the smaller ones, 1,400 square feet. You can see some in the 380 price range, Glenwood Park right here. But the HOA neighborhood, the HOA is right here. Where is it? There it is. Glenwood Association right here. So it's kind of in the middle. It's right in the midst of 2 major roads. You got Round Hill and Independence Boulevard. Some of the condo neighborhoods that are near here are on the Honeybee Golf Course, which I don't personally like honeybee. I'm not a fan. Some people like it. It's fine. It's whatever. I just don't like it. I think it's that you pay more than what I think it's worth it. So personally, but some of the houses are on the golf course. So if you like golf and you want convenience, it's still helpful to be here. But again, point being is that I personally am not a fan. You can find, I think, cheaper for the same experience. But same kind, you get the kind of the more contemporary style floor plans, 450, 500. I think right now the meat range is 450, 475 up to like 550, 525. But some are priced better than or in better condition than others. You got a lot of, like this house, for example. You get some houses that they're bigger than what they might seem. Big, like 2-story with like a loft. That can be pretty common in Glenwood. You get a lot of tree lined streets. You get some cul-de-sacs in here, like you see here. So you get a mixture here. And I do like the fact that you can get to other parts of town relatively easily. But the thing I don't like is once you get towards Glenwood and once you get back towards the corner closer to Dam Neck and Salem Road, it gets harder to get to interstates. So you notice the further you get away from Indian River Road or down Indian River Road, it's hard to get back to 64. So it could take you 10, 12 minutes to get from Glenwood, 8, 9, 10 minutes to get to from there to 64. I personally don't like that as much. And so it might take you 20, 25 to get to other parts of Virginia Beach as opposed to maybe 18, 16, 15 if you're going towards Indian Lakes or getting closer to Kempsville, Acredale. I think that extra level just makes it's more of a personal preference type of a thing as opposed to like, hey, it's going to be attractive to everybody. But I do think the HOA feel and the community vibe and the pool access in the community center, I think adds a dynamic that makes it still viable. And I think the HOA cost now, I think it's $30 or 34, I think in that range a month. So there's so many houses in the HOA neighborhood that I think you can kind of keep the prices down lower. And what I do like, so I mentioned you're close to Honeybee Golf Course. Stumpy Lake, the natural area is awesome. This area is picturesque. It has a great view of the lake. You got places to fish. People fish all the time around here. But the Stumpy Lake Golf Course, it's not in as good a condition, but it's cheaper and it's quieter. I like Stumpy Lake personally better than Honeybee if you're a golfer. And so some of the holes I think are nicer. The holes around the side of the view of the water. It's a real nice view. I just think Honeybee just is missing it. I don't know. Personal preference, but I think I think this is a great course, a great area. And I would absolutely pick here, and being close to this natural area is just fun for fishing. If you like fishing, big fan of being close to here. And if you're near Glenwood, you're right down the street and you take that long road in and you can got on both sides of here. You got docks, piers. Where's the fishing pier? Elbow Road. Where is it? Right here. It's gotta be right here. There it is. Yeah. Sorry. I'm turned around right there. There's the dock. You can great views. It's great. I mean, I think it's fantastic. And so not that expensive of HOA and you're close to some cool spots. And I think that again, you're closer to Honeybee. I'd prefer Stumpy Lake. You might say, gosh, Sam, they don't keep it up as well. I know, but I like being on a quiet course. So for what it's worth. So comments going to answer your question. Glenwood is the best neighborhood. Yeah, well, I like it. Actually, I don't want to disclose who this is, and because he lives in Glenwood, but he's right on the golf course. Actually, I think it's hole 13. Tell me if I'm wrong. Brian, is it 13, 14? I can't remember now. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. You might be jaded. I understand, and that's why I'm putting this on here. I think I'm a fan. And yours went up in value, definitely. Compared to what it was, anyway. But yeah, all that being said, Glenwood, I'm a big fan. If you want that kind of that 4s, 5s, closer to 6 price range right now, I like it a lot, and it's not a big high cost HOA. So going to the next one, the one in Chesapeake, which is I admittedly overlooked this neighborhood way too many times. Warrington Hall. Like, what's Warrington Hall? All right. Well, I wish I was talking about this neighborhood more earlier. I think the reason that I didn't was because some of the neighborhoods, some floor plans in here can be a little odd. Not all of them, just a little, just a few of them I've found are like, kind of a weird one. But I found some of them are perfectly, they're not just fine, they're great. And some of the neighborhoods in here are great. So, or the yards in here are great. So zooming out, going to Chesapeake, I love the access you get to the rest of town in Warrington Hall. So you got Greenbrier Country Club, you got Greenbrier Parkway, Volvo Parkway, Kempsville. All this area is super convenient, super prime. Here's Warrington Hall right here. You can connect down to Butt Station. This area is where I find is the most ideal price, which you get price location wise, because you can get to everything else, all the other parts of town in Chesapeake pretty easily around through here and around Butt Station, but you're even that much closer in Warrington Hall where we at right here. So you get different types of houses. I talked about this part of the area in my last video in Greenbrier, but you get brick faces, more contemporary. You got, look at the trees, single family houses, townhouses. These are in the 5s, the 6s, into closer to 7 at this point in this price range location. 25, 28, 3,000 and up square feet. You'll find some that are decent size. The townhouses are smaller, but again, you're paying for, townhouses are in the 5 and 4s range. And you're accessible to not just, all the walking trails, community grounds, the community events. It's a very community centered area here. You get some strip malls that are in the same neighborhood. You could potentially work. Like, there's some businesses close by in the same neighborhood if you zoom out. But you can. All right, it's not going to work. There we go. Okay, zoom out. There's some strip mall like businesses right here. Green Tree Realty. But as you go towards Butt Station, you can come out this way to Greenbrier Parkway because it turns into Greenbrier Parkway, or you can take Kempsville Road right here. Either way, you connect to both roads. Greenbrier Parkway, Greenbrier is right there. It is super convenient, and you get a newer type of neighborhood as well. And so I think that gets overlooked. And I honestly overlooked it. I should have been more on Warrington Hall earlier. There is the tennis courts. There is the pool right here. You got big green space around here too. Some real nice neighborhoods around Great Marsh, houses around Great Marsh Avenue. I just think you get the mixture, and it's kind of a master plan community, I suppose. It is. But you get that pool dynamic around a very convenient, quiet field. Now, there are some places that will have their own pools. You see some right here. And I think people that want their own pools will still get them, but you'll find that, again, it eats up a large majority of some of these yards. And I think that people that don't want to just have all their yard eaten up by pool will just use the pool in the neighborhood. And I think you're paying, what is it? I think it's $70 $70 a month. I think it's $70 a month or $74 a month for the HOA in here. Not as many houses in here, which I think is factoring into the cost increase compared to others. But again, I think it's valuable. It's worth it. Again, the community vibe here is fantastic. I love it. Get some fun little traffic circles, but the closest grocery stores are also nice. You get Greenbrier, which is fantastic. That's going to change a lot soon. Greenbrier Mall, you guys are going to change a lot soon and going to get revamped. So I just think that being close to all this is great for the price. I think if you took the same neighborhood that's in Warrington Hall right here, the house that's maybe 600 in here or 650 in here, move this to Virginia Beach, this is going to be 7s and up, I think, pretty easily. So this is the kind of value you get here. Drawback, and one of the reasons why I think the prices are a little bit lower is the school district is in not as much demand. It's not like the Hickory Grassfield, Great Bridge. It's in the Great Bridge in the Great Indian River School District. So this whole section over closer to going back out closer to Greenbrier, it's all Indian River School District, which again I think not everybody might be as enthused by if they want to find the school district with the highest rankings online. I have a lot of friends that graduated from Indian River, so I personally am not, I wouldn't say, I'd say just do your research, but I personally am not as I don't know. I think that sometimes the school districts that are in the highest ranked online gets the most focus. And I just think there are some spots that are still great, but they might not have the same numbers online. But again, I get it. When you're looking from a different part of the country or world, you can only go off of certain things, or as many things, like as you can go off what you can go off of. Right. So I get it. But I think there's some value to be had in Warrington Hall with that community vibe, a pool, real nice pool, and just not as many houses, maybe smaller, but getting quick access to so much that I just think it's a great part of town. I'm a big fan. So, and if you have any questions about any of this, I'm gonna stop sharing it now. You can see me again now. I've been going for a solid about 40 minutes about neighborhoods. So any questions, feel free to ask me. But if you're watching this in advance, drop a comment below. Again, I've also got my phone number here. There's my phone number. You can call me or text me, number 1-577-8764. You can I'll answer as fast as I can. I'll answer whatever I can help to get you information to get the added layers. For example, Lizzie, if you need more information about specific parts of Chesapeake, let me know. You can email me here. You can email, there we go. Reverse, as whenever you'd like to. This is my email. A lot of Sam, Sal. I just realized how hard that is sometimes to spell. But this is my personal email as well as my website. You can peruse online, but I can also set you up with searches as well. Whatever is best to help you get acclimated and get you into the area as not just necessarily as fast as possible, but possibly fast, but as seamless as possible and as comfortable as possible. I want to be able to get resources to you. So if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll wrap up for tonight, and you can keep watching. I'll do another video next Wednesday. It'll be edited for a specific part of town or about lifestyle stuff. I love talking about what it's like to live here, neighborhoods here, just everything, all things living in Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Hampton Roads, Williamsburg. I talk a lot. I love Williamsburg, Hampton, Newport News, Yorktown, going down towards Norfolk, even in Suffolk. So many parts of town, Portsmouth. There's a lot around here, and I want to add some layers and some details for you. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do whatever I can to give you details. Lizzie, have a great night, and everybody else, I will see you on the next video.